Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Let me introduce ourselves. My name is Rizky Taufik Prasetya.
And my name is Sigit Rajatul.
In this video, I want to explain about the influence of the social environment on language comprehension in children. And the first one is the human brain has an ability to acquire language where parents and social environment have an impact on the child's process of language development. In every culture, adults provide a special environment of teaching condition for this child. Parents are therefore naturally motivated to teach young children to use the language and communicate with others. Moreover, it has been shown that the child's early period of life is one of the most important periods for language development.
According to Lightbrown and Spada, more or less invariant developmental sequence have been described in the L1 research literature. The first stage is called the pre-linguistic stage, where the child is first exposed to language. The second stage is called the holopraise stage, where the child starts to utter one word around the age of 12 months. The two-word stage appears at 18 months, where the child learns more words and starts combining them with phrases. The developing stage is where the child at 2.5 years old starts to continue words in meaningful order.
And next is children's language skill develop rapidly at age 3, making this age a crucial period for understanding how social environment factors play a role in their language comprehension. Multilingual social environments, such as families that use Indonesian and regional language or English, provide children with exposure to diverse language.
According to Skinner, it is in embryos and infants, children learn words and language through behaviorist reinforcement principles, where the words are associated with meanings. Moreover, Skinner states that correct utterances are certainly reinforced when the child realizes the actual communicative value of phrases and words. Furthermore, Skinner cites in Ambridge and Levant view language acquisition as a cognitive behavior where the child learns the language by trial and errors and tries to success reinforcement of their caregiver's gesture, such as a smile, approval, and attentions. The importance of the social environment in children's language learning has been supported by various studies, but the specific influence of bilingual or multilingual environments on language comprehension in early childhood still requires further research.
This study focused on 3-year-old children in multilingual environment to explore how exposure to diverse language affects their comprehension. By using qualitative methods such as direct observation and interviews with parents or caregivers, this study is expected to provide in-depth insight into the relationship between social interaction and children's language development. And we are going to finding and discussion. We found 5 datum from the YouTube. The first datum is Oki. Ini kan dari tadi teh Oki teh tempahamnya. Jangan ngomong apa pakai bahasa Sunda gitunya. Ajarin atulah. Irfan say kita belajar bahasa Sunda. In analysis, in this context, Jehan acts as source of Sundanese language and culture, while Oki and Irfan represent individuals who are trying to improve their skills through social learning. It can be seen that both hosts are lay people or people who are not very familiar with Sundanese. Then Zehan asked to teach Sundanese of all them, which can be concluded that the Sundanese language that Zehan has is the Sundanese language that is most likely often used in his daily life. Oki saw difficulty in understanding the Sudanese language used by Jehan, which show a difference in level language understanding between the two. This shows that language understanding is greatly influenced by the frequency of the use and exposure to language in everyday life. In this case, Jehan probably used Sudanese more often than Oki and Irfan, so she has a better understanding.
Next, for the datum 2, Rina says, Zehan ada ular. Takut ada ular. Zehan, ente, iya teh orai. Lain ular, etama orai di abi disebutna. This data show that language comprehension is a dynamic process that involves first vocabulary knowledge, cultural context, and social interactions. In this case, Zehan understands the meaning of ular in Indonesian but chooses to correct it based on his own linguistic and cultural habits. These differences illustrated how language and cultural influence each other in the way individuals understand and use language in everyday interactions. Zehan shows the influence of cultural context in his understanding by mentioning that ular is a word that is not used in his speaking habits. The word orai reflects the local language and cultural identity that he understands and uses.
Interjetum Oki, kalau tikus apa Zehan? Zehan, ima beri cecurut. This interaction shows that language comprehension involves more than just understanding the meaning of words. It also includes in understanding context, regional variation, and cultural influence. In this case, Zehan used Sundanese terms to introduce lexical difference, while Oki shows the process of adaptation and learning. This reflects the importance of the social environment in raising language comprehension and building awareness of language diversity. In this case, it reflects the ability to understand variation in the lexicon or vocabulary used across language or dialect, where different terms can refer to similar object but with different context or specification.
For datum 4, Irfan says, kalau bahasa Indonesianya itu kan semut yang kecil-kecil. Kalau Sundanya apa? Zehan said, sirum etama Irfan sirum itu the semut artinya. The interaction between Irfan and Zehan highlights how language comprehension works in multilingual environments, especially in understanding lexical variations between Indonesian and Sundanese. This process involves adaptations, confirmation of meaning, and environmental exposure, all of which are important for enriching an individual's linguistic understanding. By understanding terms such as serum, Irfan not only learns new vocabulary but also appreciates linguistic diversity in a cultural context. In this case, it involves the ability to understand that both terms refer to the same concept despite having different lexical forms.
In less datum, Irfan said, Laron, Laron naonnya? Zihan said, Laron, yang kalau habis hujan di lampu suka banyak itu. Zihan's mom, Laron teh si Raru. Zihan said, oh iya si Raru yang suka ngapung-ngapung itu kan di lampu. This interaction shows that language comprehension involves learning, recall, and using context to reinforce understanding. Social support, such as guidance from Zihan's mother, is essential in helping individuals expand their vocabulary and master a language that may be less dominant in everyday life. In addition, this dialogue reflects the dynamics of language acquisition in a multilingual environment, where the level language acquisition is greatly influenced by the frequency of use and environment support.
And for the conclusion, children can acquire language on their own. namely at a certain age. In this case, Zehan is one of the children who acquires Sundanese for his environment. Assisted by a caregiver, namely his own mother, Zehan became very fluent in Sundanese. In Zehan's case, his Sundanese language ability is the result of consistent interaction with his environment, which supports the development of his linguistic abilities. Environmental factors are very supportive of children in language acquisition, and Indonesia is a country that has many languages. So it is possible that Indonesian children can acquire more than one language if they have been helped and given other languages such as Sundanese, Javanese, or other regional languages, or even foreign languages such as English, Japanese, German, and others.
And that's all from us. Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much.
Assalamualaikum
Assalamualaikum
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.